Hi everyone, State Representative Tracy Ehlert at the Iowa House. I have my clerk Truly with me today. This is session 3 of the Legislative Lunch and Learns at Your Leisure. And today we're going to discuss the Iowa Legislative website. Truly has helped identify some of the most commonly asked questions. Some people just don't even know that Iowa has a legislative website, and some people are just a little intimidated, don't exactly know how to navigate it. So we're going to cover some of the basics for you today. I'm going to share my screen here just to show you all the different features that are on the legislative site, which you can find at legis.iowa.gov. You can track bill history, you can view the lobby declarations, find your legislator or any other legislator that you're trying to contact or find out information on. You can find committee information, you can view live debates, you can also view past debates, find legislators' voting history, view legislation, you can view Iowa laws and rules, the legislative agencies, publications, archives, and capital tours and resources. So we are by no means going to go over all that today. We're going to still try to keep it to a 20-minute time frame and just cover some of the most commonly used tools and the basic questions that we get asked on this. So the first question that Truly identified for me was, how do you even track the bill to see where it's at in the legislative process? So I'm going to share, we're going to go to the legislative website. Okay, so here is the homepage of the Iowa legislative website. Now, when I'm using it, and a lot of times when Truly's using it, we know specifically what House file or Senate file we're trying to look up. That's not always the case for everyone, so we'll talk a little bit later about if you don't have a House or Senate file, but we're going to show you how to search for bills if you do. So over on the left-hand side, you'll see a little box labeled bills, and you have the choice to enter a number or a keyword. So we're going to enter the number. I'm going to show you one that did not make it through funnel week, so it has a very short bill history, and that's House File 339. This unfortunately is one of my bills. I'm a little sad that it didn't make it through the funnel, but you can see here is the bill. You can scroll down, continue reading it. If you needed to save it or print it, you can click on the little PDF and view it as a PDF and then save it if you like. And then over here on the left side, you'll see different boxes. If you go down to where you see the blue bill history, it's a hyperlink, and click that, it will open up the entire bill history for you. So here you can see it's a very short bill history. And February 2nd, the bill was introduced to the Human Resources Committee. That's all the action that this bill has had. This year on March 5th, we're making this video in the year 2021 in case anybody watches this in the future. March 5th was our final deadline. So any bill that did not pass through subcommittee and committee, with a few exceptions like bills that deal with the budgets and different appropriations, if they did not pass through that subcommittee and committee, then it's considered dead, and it did not make it through the funnel. So my bill, unfortunately, is dead for the rest of the legislative session because, as you can see, it was only introduced. It never even got assigned to a subcommittee. So we'll look at one that has a little bit more bill history, so you can see what that looks like. We'll look at Senate File 269. So this one, right away, you see this letter from the Office of the Governor. If you scroll down, you can see that this bill has been signed into law already this legislative session. So that tells you that it passed both chambers. But assuming you're a newbie on this site and you don't look at that letter or don't know what it means, you can still, again, go over on the left-hand side, click on the bill history, and it's going to show you quite a bit of history for this one, since this was has already been signed into law. You can scroll down, and right here in the bold, you can see that it passed the Senate. Scroll down a little farther, you can see it passed the House. Now, because there were amendments added on it in the House, it had to go back to the Senate, which is why you'll see 2 Senate votes on here. And then it says signed by the governor, which If you didn't notice when you clicked on the bill history, it tells you right at the top also status signed by the governor. So you know that that's been made into law this session. At the bottom, you may see bill history for Senate Study Bill 1159. And you might be thinking, well, I thought I looked up Senate File 269. If you read this little description, it'll say CSF 269. Senate Study Bill 1159 was the original bill number for this bill. And then once it was introduced and had its subcommittee and passed committee, it was renumbered as Senate File 269. So this bill history actually kind of goes backwards, where if you click on, whoops, sorry, I meant to click on the other file. If you click on Senate Study Bill, it shows you the bill history in the true order. So it started off as the Senate Study Bill, was introduced, had the subcommittee, committee, it was renumbered, and then it went on as Senate File 269 and went through all that history. So that's an example of that one. What should we cover next, Truly?
Do you want to talk about how you figure out who your legislators are?
Okay. So we can go back to the homepage of the Iowa legislative site. You can click on this second tab that says legislators. And right at the top, more towards the right-hand side, you'll see find your legislator. Click on that, and I'll use my address as an example. You type in whatever address, if you're looking for yourself or if you're looking for a friend. Search. And there you go, it'll show you. So Senator Todd Taylor's my senator. Obviously, I'm my own representative. You can then click on the name of the legislator that you're looking for, and it will bring up their contact information. It tells you what their occupation is. This can come in handy, especially if you are trying to advocate for certain bills or have questions in certain areas. Maybe you want to find a legislator that knows that area. So I often get asked a lot of the childcare and preschool questions from even non-constituents because they recognize me as an expert in that area. You can subscribe to legislators' newsletters. This will be on each of them. See what bills they have written or co-sponsored. Oh, it looks like our site's going a little slow. So you can go and see what I've sponsored there or whatever legislator you're on. See any amendments that they've offered. You can see subcommittee assignments. So these are all the bills that I was assigned to as for subcommittee this session so far. And you can see what committees I sit on. So right now I'm currently on education, human resources, labor, economic development, appropriations. So that gives you a little bit of information about legislators.
So once you've seen who your representatives are and you want to see how they voted on a certain bill, how do you do that?
Okay. So again, go back to that homepage. And then you have to decide if you want to check on a senator or a state representative. So since I'm in the House, we're going to use the House again. But right under that, currently in the House, you can go to House Floor Votes by Bill. Click on that. And here you will not be able to find too far back yet because this is a somewhat new feature and it's really awesome. I think it's very user-friendly for constituents out there to find this information. But you can look up a certain date. Like if you wanted to look up a bill from a certain day last week that you knew went through, you could look that up, or you can type the bill in itself, or just kind of scroll through and look at it. So this is our debate from this morning. So I'm going to click on this one, House File 761, and it tells you right away there was 97 0 nays. Actually, let's use a different one. Let's use one that had some that voted for and against. Okay, here we go. So House File 783, some people voted for it, some against it, and we had some absent. So you would click on the little vote PDF, and it opens up this really nice document that tells you when the debate was, who ran the bill, and here you can see all the people that voted for it. You can see the couple that voted against it, and who might have been absent. So really nice feature there. Speaking of looking at past things, we can also see past debate. So let me click on this bill. Again, you go through the bill history. And oh, they might not have that one up yet since it was just this morning. Let me find an older bill. Let's go back to that Senate File 269 because we know that that has been passed and signed. Okay, so you look up your bill, go into the bill history, scroll down to where you see it say either pass the Senate or pass the House. You can decide which one you want to watch, and it'll say video. So you click on video. And over here on the left-hand side, once my internet catches up, it will show you. There we go. Oh, it's freezing. There we go. So you can watch the past debate right there. If you want to watch a current debate, so we already here in the House, we debated this morning. So we can't view, you won't be able to view anything live here in the House today. We can check on the Senate, you know, what is the Senate doing? Oh, the Senate might be debating right now. Let's see. So you can go back to that homepage and you can go to Senate video or House video, click live. And let's see. Oh, they are live right now. Yeah, so they're debating right now and this is live. So we are.
That adds a comma and adds the word or.
Is there discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the chair recognizes the senator from Dickinson, Senator Whiting, for final remarks on Amendment 3062.
I move the amendment.
So they're currently debating right now. So you can actually see that. Now I'll show you what it looks like if we're not debating. So since here in the House, we're not debating, I'll click on ours. And this is the screen. You'll see if there is no current live debate going on. So we've already adjourned. You're going to see that. So we've looked at how to view live debate, our past votes, how to look up a bill, who our representative is. Sometimes people want to see who's for or against a bill. So you can look up the lobbyist declarations. Let's use this bill because this is one that I know has one. So you type in, you go back to your bill and type in your bill number. Over on the left-hand side, you're going to scroll down and right under the floor manager information, you're going to see lobbyist declarations in blue. You can click on that. And this will show you everybody that has a personal interest in the bill that's a registered lobbyist that's either for, against, or undecided. Now it looks like this one has nobody against it. It's got a couple different agencies for it. And then you have a lot of undecideds. Often what I find, at least for the subcommittees that I'm a part of, the undecideds usually mean this is a bill that this agency wants to monitor just to see what happens to it, but they're not necessarily for or against it. So they're pretty neutral. If an organization is adamantly for it or adamantly against it, then they usually will register as for or against. Now, one thing to keep in mind is these declarations can change. So as a bill gets amended at the different stages, or as these agencies find out more about a bill, you may see these change. So those undecideds might end up turning to fors or against, or these fors could even change to against. So that's always something good to note.
Is there a way to see public comments on bills?
So not at the committee level or the floor debate, but if there was, let me go to subcommittee. So it's a little different this year because of COVID. And since we are live streaming and again, it's different in the Senate. I'm speaking for the House. I don't know exactly how the Senate's doing theirs. They're doing theirs a little bit differently. But in the House, we are live streaming them and you can only listen. You can't talk while they're going on. but you can submit public comment ahead of time. So here you can see the different subcommittees that I'm assigned to, and you can see the public comments. So this one has none. I do believe I have one though that did. So let's see if I can find that. I've got so many tabs open right now. Let's see. Some people email me directly, and oh, here we go. Here's one that has public comment. So you'll see it like this, and then you can download those and print. Like for me, as someone that's assigned to the subcommittee, I try to download these and print these and take them to committee with me. Typically, these agencies are leaving a public comment because either A, they're not coming over to the Capitol in person because of COVID, so they're joining virtually and want to make sure their comments are recognized. Or B, sometimes that agency is double booked for subcommittees because subcommittees do take place at the same time and can overlap. So they want to make sure that those get in. This, I do not know if this is going to continue to be a feature in the future. Right now, we have this because of COVID and because of so many people joining on the live stream versus coming in person. Typically, if someone wasn't able to come in person, they just email us, the people that are assigned to the subcommittee. So you can view those.
How about how to look up something based on the content of the bill?
Okay. So we'll go back to that homepage again, and you can either start right from that home screen. And if you don't, this is where I said, if you don't know that House file or Senate file number, you can go click on keyword and you could type a phrase in. So we'll do girls wrestling, for example. That's something I recently had to look up. And it shows you right now, there's a Senate resolution and a House resolution on girls wrestling. It looks like those are the only pieces of legislation right now that contain that subject area. You can also go to legislation, and you can go to find legislation, and this gives you a variety of ways to look it up. And again, you have this keyword option over here. So maybe we're going to look up CAFOs, and there wasn't anything that way, but you can go to, oops, your find legislation and by subject. And you can look up subject of bills introduced. This will, oh, there's a CAFO one right there. So it must mean that there's a CAFO bill in here, but you have to kind of scroll for those. You see they're in alphabetical order. You see all the different ones, but that was just for that specific date. So those ones are listed by date. And then there's also, let's find legislation, keyword. Let's see, wrestling. Oh, how did we find this earlier, truly? There's another way to look these up.
Here, let me send this to you.
Because it'll bring it up where you can look by committee. Let's see, let me grab this real quick. There's a variety of ways to look up the different bills. Okay, so here you can see the different categories. Still isn't bringing up the little pictures though. We have the one that usually brings up the pictures. Yeah, we just had that one earlier.
I think it was, is it through bill tracking? Maybe? Bill tracking tools.
Oh, I bet. And then we can look up CAFO. There we go. Thank you. I'm like, it took me a minute because I always search by house files.
We're not used to doing it this route.
Here we are trying to teach them, and we're not very good teaching on this part. Yes, so you can type it in bill tracking, and then you can browse by category. So we used CAFO as our keyword. Most likely that's probably going to fall in either agriculture or environmental protection, but I have found the Capitol can be a tricky place sometimes, and you can see these ones right away do have to do some of these with CAFOs. Sometimes the bills don't end up on the committee that you think they would. It just depends. So you may have to search some others, but that's another way that you can search. We looked at lobby declarations, looked at a bill that passed both. I'm just trying to think of all the questions that we talked about.
How do you see when a bill goes into effect after it's been passed?
That's right. So let's look at, I pulled one out specifically that had some language in there around that. So go back to your homepage. You can type the bill that you're searching for. So we'll use House File 707 as an example. So this is a little bit trickier because you have to actually read the bill. And so this one has it at the end. And it tells you right here, fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021. Some bills will have an end date, some will not. It depends on if it's going to be a temporary change or not. And then some bills will say upon enactment. And so that means as soon as the governor signs it, it goes into effect. So that's a little bit different. That's how you can see that. So you kind of have to do some reading. And then one other thing that I wanted to share before I forget about it is if you want an even easier way to figure out what made it through funnel week and don't want to search and look at all that bill history, you can go on to our Iowa House Democrat legislative site. So it's iowahouse.org. Once you're on the home page, scroll down. Oh, I guess I should ask Truly, can you see this page?
Yeah,
On
yeah.
your screen? Okay. Sometimes I forget when I'm sharing if I have to stop and reshare. So scroll down and you're going to see first funnel list. You can click on that and it should bring up a document. Yep. So then right here, you can see this nice document that we have. And I don't know if I click on it, if you're going to be able to view it or not, because it might open up as a PDF.
I'll let you know.
It doesn't even want to open up. I saved it on my computer, so I know it works, but it might just be because we're in the Zoom.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So you can pull that up and it will, oh, it's going to let us flip through it. Okay. Or no, that's a bill summary. So if you're not on a Zoom, you should be able to click on that and save it as a PDF or just read it online, and it will go through. It's, I believe, 31 pages. I've got it at my, actually, let me stop sharing, and I have it, I think, right here with me. I sure do. I've been using this a lot this week. So you can print it out. It'll look like this, and then it will have it broken down into each committee. So like here's agriculture, and it will show you what bills made it through the funnel for agriculture. It will show you what bills made it through for commerce and so on. So you can keep flipping through. And then eventually we'll have a second funnel and things will be dwindled down even a little bit more. And again, if you've listened to us on some of the past Lunch and Learns, we have to have that legislative funnel to kind of narrow down what our focus will be for the session. Otherwise, we could end up being here forever and then there would be no deadline to get certain legislation done. So it kind of keeps us on track and holds us accountable. So that is some of the very basics of the legislative website. Can you think of anything else we should address, Truly? I think that covers the questions I get asked the most and the ones that you identified.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we covered the basics pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, as always, if you have more questions or need more help learning about the legislative website, you can always reach out to us by email and we will be more than happy to answer those. So have a good day, everybody.